Good evening, everyone. Sunday night Satsang with John and Michelle.
Hello.
For those who don't know, Michelle is an astrologer and a counsellor. I think one of the best around, actually.
Thanks, John. And John's a teacher and probably one of the best around too.
Thank you. So we finished
Best
with the
teacher.
compliments. Yeah. And we have a website called journeysofawakening.com. So if you want more information on us, you may have a look at us there. Well, this evening we're going to be looking at the Great Awakening. And what is the Great Awakening? How does it affect us? How do we get there? What's in it for me? And we're also going to be having an astrology update, an astrological update with Michelle, because we have a new moon tomorrow. Full moon tomorrow, and it's quite an important one. And it, I always say, and maybe Michelle doesn't agree with me, but I always say that these stars are like hands on a clock, and they don't actually make destiny, but what they do is they tell us the time. They tell us what time it is. So, for example, full moon is the time for really bringing to fruition that which we planted a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully those of you who are gardeners did plant stuff 2 weeks ago, and I know we did, and they're growing very well. So that's what happens when you follow the phases of the moon, and each planet, each star has a different energy. And when we start to live our lives in alignment with that energy, I think we can become more of a conscious creator. Instead of being buffeted around by the change in seasons, we start to plan for the seasons and work with the seasons. So that's a bit about what Michelle's going to be sharing.
Yeah, I'll certainly do that because we're all connected. Everything's connected to everything, and that's the basis of what astrology is about, really. It's a study of energy, and we're energetic beings. So whatever's happening out there, we feel and we correspond to it. We respond to it. So that's really what the basis of it. It doesn't actually cause anything to happen. John's very right.
Oh, there we are.
Right.
I'm going to study to be an astrologer.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. I can see familiar faces here joining us. A little strip above our screen on the
top,
phone.
yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us. We have got quite a community here, and I think it is important for us to get together, once a week like this, because it anchors the light not only in our own awareness and our own heart, but it also radiates it out to our communities around us. And I think one thing we need more than anything else at the moment is light and love. And, when we gather together like this, we definitely amplify our own light. We definitely do. It's like putting, two burning embers together, and suddenly you get this lovely flame. And I think we are the flame that the world is in need of right now. So good. I really value you giving up your Sunday evening to spend an hour with us. It's we really enjoy it, and I think it's very necessary for our own guidance. It does give us that inner compass, but it also radiates out into the world and benefits the world in ways that we can't begin to comprehend. And I've said it before, if we were on another plane looking down at Earth, we would see all these little sparkles of light as we connect on a Sunday night like this, and our light connects with all those other light workers on the planet. So welcome, and please give us your comments. We love the comments in the comment box. We love getting hearts as well. And just let us know where you're watching from. It's always interesting to know where our community lives, where everyone resides. So join us there. Yeah. Let us know in your comments. Yeah.
Awesome. You're going to lead us in.
Yeah, let's start this evening the way we always start, and that's by centering ourselves back into reality. Yes, we've been occupied today with maybe friends and family, maybe a little bit of quiet time, but let's just withdraw our mind from all other times and all other places and just become centered in this wonderful mechanism of presence called the human body. Such an incredible gift. And most people spend most of their time out of the body. They spend most of their time in the future or in the past, and your body's only ever now, in the present moment, and we don't occupy the body very much, and we wonder why the body starts to break down. Why do we get diseased? Well, it's very simple. When your mind is in the future or the past, you separate from presence, you separate from life, and the distance between where your body is and where your mind has gone is a certain amount of stress. And that creates a dis-ease inside your body. When you fully occupy your body, as we're going to do now, you will find definitely a level of ease occurring in your awareness. And the more ease we can bring into our body, we know from a medical point of view that stress probably causes 80-85% of all disease. So obviously the opposite of that is the more ease we immerse ourselves in, the healthier we become. So let's start this evening by doing that, shall we? So settle back into your chairs or the bed or the floor, wherever you're lying at the moment, sitting, and just gently shut your eyes and bring your awareness fully into this wonderful, wonderful collection of cells and molecules and atoms called our bodies. And we focus on the breath and the breathing for the very reason because it's not that solid, it's not that much of a thingness. And when we focus on the breath, we let go of our identity as a thing, and we start to flow with the in and the out breath. And we start to connect more with our true being, which is awareness. So let's just take a deep breath in, blowing our tummy up like a big, big ball, right down to the bottom of the diaphragm. And then that beautiful, long, relaxing sigh out. We try that again with a deep, deep in-breath, right down to our belly button. And up into the shoulders, filling our whole torso. And then we breathe out with a long, relaxing sigh, making the out-breath twice as long as the in-breath. Just pushing it all out, letting it go. And another deep breath in to your belly button, breathing in low, right down to your toes. And then again, that lovely, long, relaxing, releasing out-breath with a sigh. It's lovely to sigh. Just let it go. And now allow life to breathe you. Just become aware of this incredible intelligence that breathes you. Whether you're awake or asleep, the breathing goes on. It's amazing. Just hand over, take your hands off the steering wheel of control for a few moments and allow life to breathe you. But as life does do that, just be the witness for the in-breath and that pause and then that out-breath and then that pause and then the in-breath. And as you take the breath in, just if you're taking it in through your nostrils, just become aware of any temperature change you can feel in your nostrils between the in-breath and the out-breath. Bring your awareness to the tip of your nose. And just be at peace as you witness the body breathing itself, as life breathes you. And just withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places and just sink down deeper into your body and back into the present moment. Becoming aware of the chair you're sitting on, the cushions that are supporting you. Become aware of your feet. Become aware of where your hands are resting right now. See that they're not clenched, that they may be open and relaxed. Your shoulders, maybe you want to push them back slightly, opening your chest and relax them down. And relaxing your neck muscles, letting go of any tension in your forehead. Just let those worry lines go so that your forehead becomes smooth and easy. Feel how heavy your eyelids feel in this moment as you relax them more. Relaxing your cheeks and your jawbone. Letting go of any tension. Relaxing your tongue. Putting the tip of your tongue just behind the top front teeth. Very relaxing in a powerful way to position your tongue. See that your elbows are relaxed, your knees are relaxed, your spine is relaxed. And keeping your attention focused on the tip of your nose with the in-breath and the pause, and then that lovely relaxing, releasing out-breath. And now at the same time bring your awareness to the faculty of listening. And just see what quiet night sounds you can hear right now. And become aware of who's listening or what is listening. And you find it's stillness that's listening to stillness. It's quietness that's listening. And that is your true nature. Quietness, stillness, ease, presence. Now, take another deep breath in, right the way down to those toes, oxygenating each one of them. And then that long releasing out breath, just let it go, let it go, let it go. And gently, when you're ready, you can open your eyes and again feel how you feel in this moment. Remembering what I said earlier about ease and peace. When your body is in a state of relaxation, it's far healthier. It's able to repair itself. It's able to bring the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system into balance. Balances the hormones. Clears your mind. You become more intelligent. It's far more wonderful to live your life this way, don't you think? Than stressed and worried.
It was lovely, John. Thank you. That if we can do that often, it gets us through all this craziness, without doubt. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's to make it a regular habit of yours to do this. So every hour, just do a few breaths, a few breathing exercises, brings you back to sanity, out of the madness of the mind. Just type in the comments box how you feel now. It's always lovely to get those comments. Thank you.
So much nicer.
So let's hear what the stars have to tell us.
So tomorrow we have a full moon in Aquarius, and for those of you who don't understand astrology or have anything to do with astrology, just a very short description of why we always look at the astrology is, as I said in the beginning of this, if you may have missed it, astrology is the study of energy, and we are energetic. So whatever's happening out there is happening inside us, and whatever's happening inside us is echoed or radiates out into the cosmos, because we're really not separate. And I think once we grasp that, then we can actually grasp how these things work. So every 2 weeks we either have a new moon or a full moon, and tomorrow is a full moon. So it means that the moon is in a waxing cycle, which means it's a growth cycle. So anything from new moon to full moon is a waxing cycle. And you can see that in the sky by the moon being like a C if you live in the southern hemisphere. If you live in the northern hemisphere, it's like the other way around. But you can remember in the southern hemisphere, it's really easy because it's a C for climbing or growing. So it's the moon growing. So at new moon, we plant seeds, and then 2 weeks later, we kind of harvest those seeds and we release whatever we don't need, and we come to kind of a culmination. So it's beautiful, and obviously the moon goes around once a month, so it's really quick. So what happens at full moon is it's opposite. The moon is opposite the sun, and at the moment the sun is in Leo. So those of you with birthdays now, you would know that because
Happy
you're
birthday.
sun sign Leo. I have a very good friend whose birthday is today, and another one tomorrow. So happy birthday to Tracy and Teresa. So full moon really is the sun opposite the moon. So that at the moment the sun is in Leo, and the moon is opposite Leo in Aquarius. Now Aquarius has the energy of awakening. I'll go into a little bit more with you. Now those two, if you can imagine that they're sitting on opposite sides, they're in a square or an aspect to the planet Uranus, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So Uranus has a similar kind of energy to this Aquarian moon that we have. So what the theme is, the way I see it, is Aquarius and Uranus are about change. So that's no surprise, because we're in the middle of that. And with everything else going on this year, we absolutely know that that's true. This is really, it's like a call to awakening. It's a call to consciousness. It really is. So this particular full moon, the planet Uranus is often associated with rebellion, with looking outside of the box, stepping outside the box and saying, no, this is not okay. The status quo is not okay. We've got to break things up, get things moving, and implement change. So that's the energy of it. It's quite rebellious. It's quite strong. It's quite powerful. It's almost like a lightning bolt that comes in and breaks up the surface of what's not working. So it kind of, the energy of this full moon is it can be a little bit tricky. So if you've been feeling a bit agitated, a little bit blustery, maybe sort of electric, maybe a bit irritated, maybe a little bit stuck, because at the same time as the full moon, we also have Saturn opposite Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of the mind, it's the planet of communication, and when Saturn's opposite it exactly, it tends to kind of sometimes have blocks in communication, as John will bear out, because he had a few today. So technical issues, communication issues, issues with technology, that can happen as well. So there's a certain amount of frustration. It's like the push-pull. We also got a lot of planets retrograde, so a lot of stuff that we want to move forward isn't moving forward as much as we want. But really the energy of this full moon is to really look at the status quo inside ourselves and say, what needs to be broken up still? What am I still hanging on to that I can let go of? What isn't serving me? Those are all good questions at a full moon. What are those old patterns, those old redundant thought patterns? Uranus and Aquarius is associated with the mind. What are those redundant thought patterns that are not serving me? In terms of the mainstream, in terms of should I be looking at something out of the box? So Uranus is the planet who says, look out of the box, look further, go to another level of perspective and look down on something from a different perspective. Look at it differently. Turn it around, turn it upside down, look at it differently, and then see how you feel about it. Don't get stuck in the box of whatever everybody else is telling us, whatever everyone else is saying. So it's really a question of stepping back, getting perspective. And then also the other thing Uranus and Aquarius are associated with is freedom. Aquarius is the sign of the free spirit, which if any of you who are Aquarian would know that. And by the way, people who have their sun or moon or ascendant, the big things in their chart in fixed signs, which is Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio and Taurus, they might be feeling this full moon more, particularly if they're born around about this time. They're Leos, so they would definitely be feeling it, and Aquarius. So I was just saying that it's about freedom, it's about liberation. So where do we find that? And we've all been sort of schooled in that over the last 4 months, because we haven't had a lot of freedom. The freedom, external freedom that we've had has kind of been curtailed. We've been pulled back. So it's to look at what the concept of freedom is and to say, where do I actually find freedom? Because if freedom is dependent on the outside world, well, then we're all going to be sitting kind of very frustrated. But there's another way. So it's freedom from your mind. It's freedom from being caught up in the whirlwind of the outside world to give us that sense of freedom. So we're going to talk a little bit about freedom tonight and awakening, because those are really the two concepts that are setting the scene for this full moon. And these things tend to have a life, you know, so this theme will play out over the next few weeks. So just, you know, in terms of this full moon and the energy of the next week, just be sure to do what John just did with us. Just stop, ground yourself. This energy really needs to be grounded. It's quite electric. It's, you know, Leo's fire, Aquarius is air, air fans fire. Fire warms air. So it can be hot, it can be volatile. I think we're probably going to see a lot more protests in the world in the next little while. Not that they're not already, but there's going to be more. People just sort of seeing the light, maybe questioning the narrative, maybe new stuff coming to light, coming up to the surface so that we can look at it. And I think it's about being the observer, not being pulled into all the stories, but being able to actually see them and say, yes, there's that, and there's that. What feels right? What do I intuitively sense? Because the other part of this is that the energy, Aquarius and Uranus, is to help us to actually see clearly. So it can also be a time of breakthroughs, where if you have been stuck, this can be the time when everything gets broken up and you actually break through. So just be aware of that as well. It's also sort of like an opening for intuitive knowledge to come in. But that'll only come in when you're quiet. Because when the mind's busy, it's not going to be able to get to you because you're not going to hear it. So it's to be quiet enough to hear it. So it's a good idea tomorrow to prepare for full moon, to just write down what you would like to release to the full moon, what you no longer want to carry with you. You can look at your belief systems and ask if they're working. You can look at what you're watching in the media. Uranus and Aquarius is associated with the mainstream media, all kinds of media, especially digital media. So just be aware of what you're taking in, what you're feeding yourself on a day-to-day basis. We need to be feeding the light, not the dark. We often say that, and we'll say it again. So we're all part of that. And the other thing is just how can you take your unique light, which is Leo. Leo is how we shine, and the sun is how you shine your light out into the world from your heart. Leo rules the heart. So how can you take your light out into the world to help the collective, which is Uranus, which is Aquarius. So how can I take my light out to help, to serve, to light the way? And what am I doing to prevent that? What am I doing to hold myself back from that? Or am I engaging more in the narrative that is feeding the fire of fear? Or am I feeding the flames of love?
Yeah, that's very interesting, and that's a very powerful statement. What am I feeding? What world am I feeding? Am I feeding the world of fear, the false evidence appearing real, the world of separation, or am I feeding love? And love is about connection. It's the knowingness that you are the other. Love thy neighbor as thyself, because thy neighbor is thyself, thy real self. And so we have a choice to make, I believe, as a species at the moment, as to which world we want to invest our awareness in. Do we want to invest our awareness in the world of separation and fear and darkness and control, or do we want to invest our awareness in that world of love and connection and joy and peace? And what we do know is that the physical world is a manifestation of a field of energy, and we feed that field of energy. And the interesting part about a field is that it's everywhere all at once. It's not sequential like physical objects are sequential, but a field is everywhere all at once. And so as we feed that field with our thoughts and our emotions, having chosen between fear and love, that ripples out instantaneously to affect the whole world, instantaneously. And I think that was Michelle gave us quite a bit of practical advice there as well. And it's interesting because, today Michelle mentioned about communications. I was trying to send an email out, just a simple email, and I didn't really achieve that. It took me the whole day. So the computer just was not working properly today. And it's interesting, I also watched a little clip on the protests in Berlin.
Huge protest.
Huge protest there. But what was lovely about it is it was relatively peaceful.
Oh, totally.
So they were, you know, giving energy to, they were expressing their energy. They didn't want to be controlled, but they did it in a way that honored love rather than honored fear. They weren't tipping over cars and burning buildings and you know, mangling people. They were doing it peacefully. So that was something to be honored, I think, by all of us. And it's in line with the full moon's energy. Yeah, and that was quite positive to see.
Yeah, a protest doesn't always have to be, you know, breaking things. It can just be a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. They were really saying, you know, we're saying that this isn't working for us.
Yeah. So the biggest protest we can do in inverted brackets is the opposite of that. It's acceptance. You know, acceptance opens our heart. That's what it does. It opens our heart. And that energy that then comes through us is enough to transform the world without physically having to go up and break stuff. The energy that comes through us is enough because, as Michelle mentioned in her video earlier, which she did on the new moon, it takes just one candle, one small candle, to light up a room. And that's all it does. And there's no war between light and dark. I mean, the light never has to go and attack the darkness. Because darkness is just the absence of light. So the moment you bring light into a dark place, the darkness dissipates. There's no war, there's no resistance required. And if we can remember that every moment of every day, to anchor our awareness back in that light, back in that sense of connection and love. And part of that is also, you know, the big word, forgiveness. Forgiveness, because it's forgiveness that opens our heart and allows us to love. So if we feel we're being oppressed and if there's an unjust system being imposed on us, in that moment of forgiving them, you know, for they know not what they do not know that they are light. And so if we forgive them, that opens up the channel of light, and that light is enough to dissipate their unconsciousness. So just bear that in mind. It's quite interesting, because so often, you know, we will want to resist something and we want to condemn other people. Well, that condemnation is fear. And that is not, you know, that's not the energy that we really want to support at the moment. We want to support light, love, forgiveness, a very powerful part of that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's that what you said there about acceptance is really big and really true. But a lot of people get it to a point where they say, well, I can't just accept this. It's unacceptable. It's, you know, I can't, I find myself resisting it all the time. And a lot of us are finding that in many different ways, that we feel that resistance. So resistance and acceptance is not just lying back and saying, well, you can do whatever you like and I'll just lie here. And I won't say anything, I won't do anything. You can actually state that, no, this is not okay, without that state of fighting and resistance. So, you know, so you can, when you resist, you close down. And when you close down everything. When you accept, you open. So what you're doing is you're saying, I accept this. That's happening, because it is happening.
I accept this. I have an inner yes, but an outer no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
But here, there's no. And that's the difference. So you keep yourself open, you keep your heart open, while stating clearly that this is unacceptable. And that's a good form of protest. You know, I always quote from Mother Teresa when she was asked during the Vietnam War to go on a march against war, and she said, no, I will not go. But ask me to go on a march for peace, and I'll be the first one there. So she knew the secret. You actually, you promote what you want rather than resist what you don't want. So that's the secret, I think, at the moment, which we need to learn. We need to really appreciate that energy ultimately trumps matter. Excuse the pun there. But it is energy which actually transforms more than trying to move physical objects around. And that leads us now to the topic of tonight, which is the Great Awakening. And in a nutshell, awakening is really awakening awareness from the prison of form. And think about that. So waking up from physical form to the realization that we are this pure energy. We are consciousness expressing itself through the limited aspect of form, but for a very limited time. And for most people, this is a gradual unfoldment. I mean, a few people have an instantaneous awakening, but for most of us, it's a gradually letting go, releasing, surrendering the self that we have that's attached to form and time and mind, and realizing that there's something more transcendent, more eternal, timeless than that other old aspect of ourselves. So the awakening process is really the realization of who you really are. It's the realization of the real self, the realization. So you're starting to see with real eyes, realization, what is real and what is transitory. And, everything physical in the world is transitory. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And unfortunately, most of us have gone to sleep in that we identify who we are with the physical universe. Yeah. And so we identify who we are with, for example, this body, the gender we have. I am a male, and therefore XYZ, or I am a female, and therefore XYZ, or I'm a black, I'm a white, I'm a Chinese, or I'm a colored, I'm a Native American, or whatever. And then we identify, and then we come at the world from that identity. And all of that is transitory. All of that comes and it goes. So we have a name, and my name is John, and it's really a label for a collection of ideas. That's all it is. It's a collection of ideas. And those ideas, most of them might be verified by the outside world and validated by the outside world, but it doesn't matter how many people validate that. It doesn't make it eternal. It doesn't make it real in the absolute sense. And so the waking up process to realize, yes, I have a name, I have a body, I have a gender, I have a mind. But there's something that's having all of that. What is that has an idea? What is that has a thought or has an emotion? And the awakening up is the realization that I am not a somethingness. I am the space that is aware of the somethingness. And that realization, as we start to wake up to that, releases us from something that really has owned us and controlled us for a long, long time, and that is death. Death is the one thing that controls all physical things, and if you only identify yourself as a physical thingness, you're then subject to death. And that death will own you, and it will prevent you from living. Because at the back of your mind is always the need for protection. I mean, we have this whole thing going on in the world right now, and it is death that is controlling everything. It's the fear of dying. We've got to separate. We can't visit our family. We've got to wear masks. Why? Because I'm scared of death. Well, when you realize that death is not real in the absolute sense, everything that's physical will die. It's only a matter of time. So, why hold on to that? Why live your life attached to that idea? Let it go. If you release the fear of death, you truly become free to live your life, to fully live your life with the depth of beingness. Then you can love deeper than you've ever loved before when you release that fear of death. And the only way you can release the fear of death is by awakening. Awakening consciousness from form. To realize you are the formless. You are that which occupied your 2-year-old body. You're that which occupied your 8-year-old body. You're that which occupied your 12-year-old body or your 21-year-old body. You are that which occupies the body that you have tonight. But you're none of that. Because if you were that, you would have died a long time ago. When your 2-year-old body disintegrated to turn into a 3-year-old body, you would have died. But you didn't. Because you were never your body. You're never your name. You can change your name. You're not your gender. You're not your career. You're not your relationships. You are consciousness inhabiting a world of form for a very, very brief moment in time. Very brief moment in time. That one saying, this too will pass. It's so true. But that which is real never passes. And when you start to wake up to that realization, you start to live your life in peace, in ease, and in love with life, instead of fearing life. Yeah.
No, because if you're fearing life, you're not living, and you might as well be dead anyway. So, I mean, we really, to live your life scared of death is ridiculous, because you're actually robbing yourself of the life that you do have. So, and you know, the way I see it as well is that life, that death, our death is written anyway. So, I mean, I've been doing astrology for long enough to know that nothing's a mistake. Absolutely not. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. So, if nothing's a mistake and you come in with a unique blueprint, then you have a unique day that you're going to drop this physical body. And worrying about it isn't going to change that. It could be in 5 minutes, it could be in 50 years. But if that's your day, that's your day. So that's also another part of just being able to accept what, you know, you need to do what you need to do, and you keep yourself healthy, and you look after yourself, and you don't put yourself in danger. You do all of those things. But if it's your day, it's going to be your day anyway. So we may as well live fully.
And to live mindfully. So, you know, it's to live with caution, but with no fear in that caution. Yeah. I mean, I personally could have died many, many times in my life. In fact, I did die when I was 5. And the story goes, my mother prayed and prayed to the angels, and I came back again. So I've already been there once in this lifetime, but I could have gone there many, many times. I mean, I've had real brushes with death many times in my life, and most of you have. You know, occasionally we have an accident on the road and we think, oh, if only I had left home, you know, 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late, I wouldn't have been in that accident. But just think of how many accidents you haven't been in. Yeah. How many times have you not been hurt?
We have no idea what could have happened
if
you'd left 5 minutes later or 5 minutes before.
Correct, yeah. And really, to be ruled by this fear of death is just so debilitating and so unnecessary. You don't need to fear death. It's the one thing you will do absolutely successfully is to step out of this meat suit into a higher vibration, a higher awareness. And there are many, many people, which we've discussed before, who have done that, and they've come back and told us, you know, that there is nothing to fear. There's a big American guy, 6'7", apparently, Daniel Brinkley, and he says, let me tell you about death. He says, death is a lot of bullshit. He says, I've been there 3 times. It doesn't exist. So he's a man that was struck by lightning, and he was given up for dead, and because his body was melted. And he came back, he fought his way back, and all he could talk about was, you know, beings of light and crystal palaces. And he's died twice more since then because his heart is pretty melted. And he spends most of his time at the side of dying people. He works for hospice. Yeah. And he tries to redress what he did early on in life, which he was a hitman for the US military. So there are many, many, many cases if you want to look at what that is. So do not fear death. As Michelle said, your date is already written. Your date is written. So don't worry about it. Live your life fully. So the second part of tonight's theme is we have the Great Awakening. So awakening is the awakening of consciousness from full identification with form. Yes, you still maybe will have a form, but you no longer have that huge attachment to it. And you can have a greater reverence for life. It doesn't mean that you don't care for life. You do care for life. And the other part of that is the great awakening. What does that mean? What does great awakening mean? Well, in the Western Cape, as we are here now, in fact, today we're experiencing summer. I mean, it's like 24, 25 degrees. Beautiful day, but shortly we'll be experiencing spring. I'm not too sure about that, actually.
I don't know either.
No, we'll probably experience winter. Yeah, the weather is really topsy-turvy. Yeah. But in the natural scheme of things, we experience spring. And in the Western Cape, one of the things that we like doing is going to see the wildflowers up the west coast. And it's really beautiful. Go to a place like, not too far away, the nature reserve, the West Coast Nature Reserve near Langebaan. And the flowers that come out there are absolutely magnificent.
Carpets.
Now, I'm sure that right now there's 1 or 2 flowers flowering. And I'm sure probably 2-3 months ago there was 1 or 2 flowers flowering. But it wasn't a mass flowering. Why not? Because the time wasn't right. The season wasn't right. And now I believe we are coming up to a portal where the season is right for mass awakening, for mass realization of who you are. And when the season happens, it happens with added support from the universe. So although for most of us it might have been a struggle up till now, and it might not have been supported, might not have been your path to awaken. There are early awakenings. I mean, we had Jesus who awakened 2,000 years ago. We had Buddha that awakened 2,500 years ago. We had Lao Tzu that awakened 2,600 years ago. But these are odd occurrences. But now we're coming into the season of awakening. And I believe before the spring, there's always that dark winter. And that's what we're going through right now. That darkness, that dark winter, where nothing seems to go right, where the forces of darkness seem to come to their strength. But shortly after that is spring. And that's the season we're going to be moving into. And I think what we need to be doing is the groundwork for that awakening. And we run a 13-week program called Journey to Freedom. We've got 2 behind us, and we've got a new one opening up on the 10th. That's next Monday we start this. And really what it is 13 weeks of shedding all that no longer serves us. Michelle spoke a bit about that shedding, which is a very, very important part of the winter process. In the winter, the trees shed their leaves. All the leaves are gone. And so this process right now is not a process necessarily of gaining anything. The journey of awakening is not gaining anything. In fact, in awakening, there's nothing really for your ego. There's nothing for your ego. It's not that you suddenly can manipulate metallic objects and bend spoons and psychically see into other people's heads. That's not the point of awakening, not at all. The awakening is the letting go, the releasing of all that you're not, of all the stresses, all the baggage which we've carried for so long. So this is the process we're in right now, is the releasing process. And so this journey that we have, this 13 journey to freedom, is a looking at what you've been carrying, looking at what's been blocking love, looking at what's been blocking freedom, and then dissolving that.
Yeah, it's very much like the diamond. You know, we are that diamond, and we get covered by layers of gunk from our conditioning, from what we believe, what people tell us to believe, what people think of us, what we think of ourselves. It gets covered, so we actually forget that we're the diamond. So it's stripping away those layers of gunk, which is the conditioned mind very often, and all our conditioning and the way we think things should be and the way we think things should have been. And as you strip those away, you become more and more free. You become lighter and lighter, and that doesn't bog you down anymore, and you're able to just shine your light. And this, this full moon and the astrology of this year is absolutely about that. It's about taking away the layers. It's lifting the veil. It's taking away the scales from our eyes so that we can actually see clearly who we are, who we really, really, really are. Not I'm Michelle and John is John. Not that I am. It's the deep, proper I am. It's that spark of light that you are. So the journey that we take you on is really to, as John said, remove those layers. It's not necessary to give you more. You don't need more. We don't need more cleverness. We don't need more skills. We need to let go of the beliefs that we have, of what's holding us and blocking our light. Because we are the light. We just forget that we're the light and we block it. So that's what the journey's about. And it's a very interesting, it's a transformative journey of the soul. The people that are on the course now and the people that have finished the course have had huge shifts. And I believe that some of you here tonight, I can see some of you, so welcome. Sorry, the little fly here, the little mucky thing.
Yeah, I've got a few of them flying around. It's summer, you know,
It's
there's
summer.
all the summer little
They're
beetles will
reminding
come
us
out.
to be free. So, yeah, there's 13 weeks. We start with the first week next Monday evening, which is the 10th. And we meet on a Zoom call. And we all just get together. We give you information about the full journey. And then you have access to all the material for the week. And then the next 13 weeks we go through really interesting subjects, inspired intention, which is to find out what you really, really, really want. So it goes way beyond, I want a Ferrari. What do you really... John wants a Ferrari.
No, I don't.
I'll buy you.
I could never afford the maintenance, never mind the repayments or the insurance.
Yeah, no, you won't get it for.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know, we want stuff and yet the stuff ends up owning us, and that's something I've learned in my life. The less you have, the freer you are. So, but you're very right, inspired intention comes from looking at what it is you really, really want. What is your sankalpa? What is that inspires your soul? So that's a very important week that we look at.
Yeah, then the next week is self-discovery. So who are you? So if you're not your name and your roles and everything else, who are you? So we go deep into that. So you get journal questions, you get a meditation, you get an affirmation, which you then work with during the week. We have a WhatsApp group which you can share stuff on. And then we have the Zoom call where you can ask questions and we do a bit more teaching. There's teaching videos, so there's a lot of stuff there for you. The next one is conscious relationships, and we're all in relationships all the time. So it's being more conscious in relationships to see what we need to do, and then goes all the way through. I don't know if we need to actually give you all of them. Soul's Diary is a really interesting one. What I just described there, actually. What is our soul's diary? Because we wrote it. We didn't come by accident. We chose our parents, we chose our date and place of time of birth. So what is that? The soul's diary, the art of acceptance, free will and destiny. We go through that in the 1 week. The power of love. That's a beautiful week. Feeling is healing. Dissolving the pain body, which is a biggie.
Pain body is a big one. You know, it's one thing that really messes up relationships. It really separates you from the joy of living as this pain body that we cart around with us. It comes out for feeding on odd occasions, sometimes not so odd. And it really destroys so much of us. And how can we dissolve that pain body? It's a very important week, that.
Yeah. Living in abundance, freedom and forgiveness, which is huge.
Yeah, forgiveness is the most powerful tool. I mentioned that earlier. Very, very powerful. Unforgiveness is such a barrier between us and love. It really is. And we never forgive the other. We actually just release that blockage to love within our own heart. That's what real forgiveness is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It sets us free. You know, say forgiveness is to open the prison doors and let ourselves out. That's really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the final week is the miracle of gratitude, which is really the way into freedom.
Yeah.
Because it brings you into the present moment. And it brings you out of the mayhem. So even this week, working with this full moon, bring yourself into gratitude over and over. If you feel yourself spinning from all the information and all the blustery energy out there from other people, other people's fear, other people's angst, anxiety, possibly even aggression, just bring yourself into gratitude for this moment right now, looking at the flower in front of you or the person in front of you or your cup of tea.
So I would guess that most of you watching this at the moment have done a lot of work. You've done a lot of inner work. You've read books maybe, attended workshops and seminars and watched the DVDs and the YouTube clips. You've done that work. Now is a time though of application. We need to apply that in real practical ways in our life. And so this Journey to Freedom course which we're offering, which we start again on Monday night, next Monday night, is an opportunity for you to shift the information which you hold inside your head deeply into your heart, to make it real, to make it yours. Because when you apply information in practical ways, you create wisdom. And that wisdom is your wisdom. Wisdom can never be given to you. That wisdom also can never be taken from you. It doesn't matter what happens in the future. That wisdom will be yours always, because it becomes part of your soul, becomes part of your conscious energy. And that wisdom is something that you can then build on in time to come. And I believe that these very challenging times which we're going through, and I believe we're going to be going through this birthing process for quite some time, we need to develop the spiritual muscle. And during this journey which we will guide you through, we will be there to help you develop that spiritual muscle. We will be there to help you peel away the blinkers from your awareness, to see the magnificence of your own being, of your own essence. And as you start to see that within yourself, you'll start to see that in others. And as you start to see that in others, the world changes, your relationships change. Life becomes kinder to you. See, most people have a war with life. They say no to life. And when you pick a war with life, life's bigger than us. And it tends to give us a hard time. And part of the awakening process, and one of the joys of awakening process, is you start to realize that you won with life. One with life. Oh, very wise. And when you live your life aligned with life, life becomes so much easier, so much smoother. The levels of stress disappear. Worry becomes a thing of the past. I do not worry. And I can say that with full truth. I do not worry about anything anymore. I gave that up a number of years ago. I used to worry a lot. That's why I lost all my hair, I think. Or I gave it to my kids. I'm not too sure which. But worry is something I do not do. I cannot do it anymore. So that's one of the benefits of journeying to awakening. And it gives you this sense of freedom, this alignment with life. And life becomes far more friendly, far more user-friendly to you. You start to trust your intuition, start to listen, you start to understand what that intuitive energy is, rather than your subconscious mind speaking to you. And it's awakening from the chatter of the subconscious mind. That's another way of looking at awakening.
Take yourself less seriously.
You do. You take life less
seriously.
seriously.
Because we take life too seriously, most of us, really. And most people who have passed over and come back have said, don't be so serious, don't take it so seriously. Just, be lighter. You don't have to be so serious.
Yeah.
Worry about everything. Doesn't help anyway.
Yeah. Worry never
I
solves
know,
the
because
problem.
I've been a very good worrier. I've got a master's degree in worrying. So I know all about worrying, and it doesn't get you anywhere. It really doesn't. So so we invite you to join us. You can join us free for the first week. Just go to our website, journeysofawakening.com.
You journey for a whole week with us. You get a whole week's work, and we have 2 Zoom calls with you for the first week, the beginning of the week and the end of the week. So you can look at our website, journeysofawakening.com.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just end this evening. I'd like to ask Michelle to do a meditation. Should we do a meditation? Would you like a meditation?
Cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
People with us, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And then after the meditation, we're going to give you your week's affirmation card from one of these cards that we have here. So just hang around at the end and let's hear what we have as an affirmation for the week. And affirmations are such powerful ways of transforming your life. If you look at the Louise Hay video clip that I put out on my page earlier, John Homewood 7, just go and watch that. It's a 12-minute clip. Have a look at that and you start to see the power of affirmation in shifting our mind. Because as we change our mind, we change the world we experience. So we'll do that after the meditation.
Okay. Thanks, John. I'll just do a short close. Okay, so thank you for being here, everyone. Just make yourself comfy for a few minutes. Just take a nice big deep breath in and a releasing breath out. You should already be quite relaxed because you've been hopefully chilling for the last hour or so. And another deep breath in. And a releasing breath out. And just find the stillness within you. Imagine dropping down into a place of stillness. Beneath the surface of the busy mind. Imagine you were a little pebble that just came floating down from the surface of the water and landed gently on the soft sand, where everything's quiet and everything's still. And you're connected with all that is. Just connect with your breath as it flows in and out with no effort from you. Notice how the universe just breathes you every moment of every day. And with each out breath, just drop further into this place of stillness. This beautiful place of stillness beneath the surface. Outside, everything can be changing, but you can still remain still and peaceful. Just imagine that you're underwater and you can breathe underwater. And you watch little fish swimming by. You can see the passing parade. But you're just softly nestled in presence. Nothing you have to do, nowhere you have to go. Just being here, right now. And as you just sink into presence, just open more. See if you can open even more. Put your shoulders back a little bit more and drop even more into it. Just soften completely. Soften your whole body. See if you can feel the energy radiating through your body. Notice the energy in your hands. Notice the energy in your feet. Just relish this moment. Allow your heart to swell with gratitude for being here right now, wherever you are in your home, connected to this beautiful community of people. Ready to start a brand new week. Just fill your heart with gratitude for what you do have. And once your heart is filled with gratitude, send that out. Send it out to the world. From your heart, send love out. Send light out. Be the lighthouse this week. Now gently just take a deep breath in. A slow breath and out. And another nice deep, gentle breath in. And out. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
That was lovely. Thank you, Michelle.
Good.
That was really nice. All peaceful, and we have our bank account charged up now with peace for the week ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to start the week that way. So let's charge. You can shuffle the pack and I'll choose. Or let's see what affirmation we have for the week ahead. I'm going to choose a green one. Green is heart. Heart energy for the week ahead. I honor and love the divine in me. I honor and love the divine in me.
It's lovely.
That's beautiful. That diamond within each one of you, that beautiful diamond, although it's covered up in maybe layers and layers of brown stuff, ultimately that diamond is the divine. You are a spark of the divine, a spark of that magnificent diamond. So this week we're going to be saying this: I honor and love the divine in me. Even with all your mistakes, even with all the things that you could do better and whatever, the things that have been done to you. If you just repeat this affirmation over and over again, it ignites the divinity within you. And life becomes so much easier when we live our life aligned with the divine inside us. So I'll put this up on our WhatsApp page and on Facebook. You can join the WhatsApp group. You just go on to journeysofawakening.com and click the link and you can all join that. And I'll put this up on Facebook as well. So I honor and love the divine in me. How beautiful is that? Have a beautiful week, a full moon on Monday, and take some of Michelle's advice there, some powerful stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, and you might like to share this with your friends and give us your comments. Thank you.
Thanks
and we'll
for
see you
joining
next
us.
Sunday. Bless you. Good night.
Cheers.